up to speed with other stories that we're currently following up on. We have our Raquel Muigai. She's going to be speaking to us in a matter of minutes about the European Union Observer Mission. They're yet to hold a press briefing, as you can see there. The journalists there are waiting for that presser to begin any moment now. And of course, they will be commenting about the elections. They have been observing the elections and therefore the preparations, the campaign period really, and they will be speaking to the press in a matter of moments. But also my colleague Shadrach Misi, as you can see, standing by in our city centre studio, and he's yet to give us an update on lecturers. Now they are threatening to down their tools over failure by the government to implement their collective bargaining agreement. Shadrach, thank you very much for joining us this morning. So what do we know so far? Have the lecturers down their tools yet, or is that meeting between the union officials being the most, really the issue that is being awaited for to discuss whether they will indeed go on strike or not?
Well, Betty, good morning. And just a while ago, I was speaking to some of the national officials to the University Academic Staff Union who indeed confirmed that this morning there is a National Executive Council meeting that is going on, and it's from that meeting that the strike shall be officially declared as on. Remember, last week they only issued a warning that the government ought to act on what was agreed between the parties, and failure to which a strike shall commence. And so for them, they are saying that the strike commenced on Saturday, even though it had not been given the blessing of the NEC. Remember, in the procedures of any trade union, there has to be a National Executive Council meeting that meets to discuss and issue or give a nod to any strike to commence or to end. And so what they are doing today is just a mere formality to ensure that this strike is captured within the procedures of the union, so that when the Secretary General comes out to declare that the strike is on, it shall have gone through all the procedures as required by law. And so if that happens, indeed, of course, Betty, we are staring at a possibility of another education lockdown, this coming like about 4 months after another long strike that lasted for nearly 2 months. That is 54 days to be real. Betty.
All right, Shadrach, let's discuss some of the issues that were raised by the lecturers. Of course, one of the things is to do with the monies that they are waiting for. The issue is that the money, they say, have not really reached their bank accounts or the university's bank accounts. And that's the reason that, even this National Executive Council meeting is being held to really, discuss where the money is, because the ministry says that they released the monies and wired the monies to the university's bank accounts. But that has not happened because the lecturers are saying that we've not gotten this money yet. So how are we likely to see this play out? In this meeting, are we likely to see officials from the ministry to really just clear the air about, when this money can be seen in their accounts?
Of course, Betty, when lecturers raised those claims, anyone would expect that the government, through the Minister of Education and the University's Council Management, will come out to give or make a pronouncement over the same. Remember, what lecturers are saying is that the CBA was signed and even deposited at the Industrial Industrial Relations Court. And so for them, they are acting on a legal document that is already safeguarded by law. And so what they are looking for here, remember, even what is most making them come out on to demand for their money is beginning 1st July, that's about 2 days ago, another program had to be started, and the CBA they are calling for was to be implemented by June 30th. And so for them, they are saying, in fact, to quote some of the statements or the exact words being used by some of the officials, is that the government has reneged on an agreement that it put its sign on it. And so for them, they're just pushing for the implementation of this pay. Remember, in the agreement, lecturers were given a salary increment of about 17.5% on basic salary and another 3.9% on house allowance. But what they're telling us is that nothing so far has happened, and so they're still waiting for this money. And remember, from July 1st onwards, the issue of CBA shall never be there, because considering that there has been an extensive job evaluation going on in the public sector, where beginning from this July, all servants in the public sector shall start earning salaries on an harmonized scale. And so the issue of CBA shall not be there. And for them, why they are really pushing for this is to ensure that what was agreed upon and captured in that CBA, and the CBA that was eventually deposited at the Labor Relations Court, is acted upon and the dues are paid. Betty.
All right. So the monies that they wanted is about 8 to about 10 billion shillings, and the CS Fred Matengi came out to say that this monies will be staggered into. Do they have a problem with that? That we have about 4 billion being paid out right now, and the other about 4 billion will also be paid in the next financial year. Do they have any issue with that?
For them, from the onset, they seem not to have any issue over the same. But what really seems to anger them most is the delay, and what seemingly they're claiming the failure even by the government itself to honor even just part of the deal. And so for them, they just want to remember in that deal, the lecturers, that is those members of the university's academic staff union, WASU, were given about 6 billion. Then their colleagues in the Kenya University Staff Union, KUSU, were given about 3 billion, and the remaining 1 billion was given to Gudehia. And so none of those groups have really come out to say how exactly whether they have been paid or what formula has so far been suggested to them. And so for them, what they are pushing for is for a clear indication that indeed the government is committed to the agreement that was signed, and that in whatever way or in whatever form it appears, they just want to make sure that their efforts and their rights are adhered to and acted upon as per the agreement and the CBA that was eventually subjected to a thorough discussion and eventually deposited with the Industrial and Labor Relations Court.
All right, Shadrach, finally, maybe let's just talk about the impact. If indeed the lecturers decide to go on strike, what will really be the impact in regards to learning in universities? Remember the last time it was a 54-day-long strike, and quite a number of students were affected. Learning was, of course, interrupted gravely. What are we expecting right now? And especially considering that, people are supposed to be doing their exams right about this time.
Well, again, Betty, looking at it clearly, you would see this could be extremely strategic by the lecturers, considering that this is a very serious moment for all university students. And so they think by doing this, or they feel by doing this, the government will really act upon their demands so quickly so that they no longer, again, interrupt with the learning. Remember, for the 54 days that lecturers went on strike, we were duly informed that in effect interfered with the semester. And so we don't know if indeed the strike shall commence as it has already been warned. Then we do not know exactly for how long the strike shall be. And if, again, it goes into another long period, then we are pretty sure that the program for learning in the public universities shall once again be interrupted. But we do not know exactly how this is going to pan out. But we hope for the best, even as we fear that the worst might still come out of it.
All right. Thank you very much, Shadrach Miti, there following for us the lecturers' strike. Like he mentioned, there's that National Executive Council, I beg your pardon, that's supposed to be happening today for